Hey everyone, and welcome to this video. In today's video, we are going to talk about willpower and how to increase performance, how to use your daily willpower to focus on activities that bring you joy or make you money, and how to make more of that. So roll the intro and I'll see you back here. Okay, so this is the definition of willpower. This is what you will find if you Google willpower definition. And it's control exerted to do something or restrain impulses. This means that you can either push yourself to do something that you would otherwise delay, procrastinate, or stop yourself from doing, something that you would regret. It's one of the two, right? So it's pushing yourself to do something, or it's stopping yourself from doing another thing that you would regret or hurt yourself or something like that, right? So an example here on pushing you, it will push your willpower, pushes you to go to the gym, to clean your teeth, to create that piece of content for social media. So stuff that you need, that you need to do, but sometimes you either delay it, postpone it, or you don't really want to do it. Or there's also stuff. It's stopping you from doing certain things like eating fast food or wasting too much of your time on social media, scrolling through your feed, or watching Netflix all day, and the examples can continue. So this is why willpower is so important. It can drive us to do amazing things, and it can stop us from ruining our life. But willpower is limited. I was amazed when I first found out about this, but you can test it in your life and you will see that it is actually true. What it means is that each day you wake up with a specific amount of willpower. It's very well defined. We all have the same. You can imagine it as a wallet, and we all wake up with that wallet filled with the same amount. It's better. It's like Monopoly, right? Every player starts with the exact same amount of money when the game begins. It's the same with willpower. When we wake up, we all start with the same amount of willpower, and every action that we do takes a bit of willpower out of our tank. Exactly like at Monopoly, when you buy a property, it takes out of your cash, right? It's the same with willpower. And when I first found out about this, I thought it was not true. It could have been true, right? I mean, let's face it, they're like high achievers guys like Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, and so many others that portray this image on social media that they always choose the right path. They always do the right thing. They always eat healthy. They always exercise. They always do this. They always do that, right? And it feels like they have this infinite willpower that belongs to them, right? But I went on a quest to find the answer because I was obsessed over this, right? If I could control my willpower, I could just be in shape. I could be healthy. I could make all the money in the world. I could do all of these things that I wanted, right? And I've obviously bumped into several theories. Like everyone has its own theories about willpower. But then I stumbled upon a couple of articles and books, which all boiled down to two main things. First of all, habits, and then prioritization. It's pretty much the fact that you need some habits in order to control your willpower and also to prioritize your daily task if you want to do that. But let's start with habits, because this is literally the first thing you would have to address to increase your willpower. For a long period of time, I didn't understand why habits and creating those habits were so powerful and so important, right? Because everyone talks about habits. Everyone talks about creating healthy habits or constructive habits, but no one really tells you why are habits so good. And I didn't know, right, until I took a deep dive into this subject of willpower. And the good thing is that I always try to implement habits in my life, and I successfully did with a lot of them, including exercising. So I'm glad I did it anyways, though even I didn't understand what it meant. And the best example I can give you here would be, and I feel this is relatable to everyone else right now. When the pandemic started, we were not able to go back to the gym for a while, right? And before the pandemic, I used to engage in a lot of sports activities, including going to the gym, going to basketball, because I totally love basketball, playing tennis from time to time. And I was doing sport on a daily basis. If I was not at the gym, it's because I was playing basketball. If I wasn't playing basketball, it was because I was playing tennis. So I was doing sports like all day long. So I created this pattern in my mind, right? That was pretty much telling me, well, at gym time today, you can't skip that because you cannot skip breathing. And not going to the gym is like skip breathing. So you have to go to the gym today. It was this powerful, like my brain was so focused on this habit that I couldn't let it go, right? But when the pandemic came and I was forced out of that habit, I was forced to break the pattern, and I've put 10 pounds on me. And this is why I say it's relatable. I think a lot of people have done this. But the worst thing is not the weight, right? That's something that I can again lose, and I did lost it. But that was not the bad part. The bad part is that I didn't feel anymore. After a while, obviously, I didn't feel anymore that I had to go to the gym. I had to go to play basketball or tennis. I just didn't, because how you create a healthy habit, it's the same way you can destroy it. So my new habit was, well, I don't have to go to the gym anymore, right? Because the first few days were like super hard for me. Like, oh man, like I was just like agitated. I was anxious. I cannot go to the gym. What can I do to replace it? So I had all those feelings, right? But then this new pattern was created. The pattern that was telling me, well, it's totally fine to work another 2 hours instead of going to a gym. So this new pattern was created. And when it all came back to some type of normal, and I restarted going to the gym, I had a hard time doing it. Most of the time I was like, well, I would probably just skip gym today and I can work 2 hours more, right? Because this was my new habit. So I had to recreate that. But how does this tie back into willpower? Because this is habits, right? So I've talked for like last 2 or 3 minutes all about habits, but how does this go back and tie back into willpower? Building a habit consumes a lot of willpower. So when you're beginning to build that habit, right? When you so after the pandemic like situation calmed down and I was able to go back to the gym, like pushing myself every day to go back to the gym or go play basketball. Well, that was hard and it consumed a lot of my willpower. But once the habit it's established in your routine, right? It can take like 30, 60, 90 days. It doesn't really matter. I'm not talking about that right now. But once it's established in your daily routine or weekly routine or whatever habit it is, it takes less and less willpower. It even gets to a point when willpower, it's almost as if it's not involved, right? Because let's face it, do you have to convince yourself every day to get dressed before going to work? Like, do you have to even think about like, should I go naked or should I just wear something to work? It's not like there's like literally zero willpower to that, right? You just jump into some clothes. I'm not talking about what type of clothes, but just you jump into some clothes, right? Which means that if you are left with willpower, you can use it for something else more productive. And another example I can give you here, and I think this is one of the best examples out there, is how billionaires dress. This is Mark Zuckerberg. You probably know the guy, right? He's pretty famous, I would say. And it's almost famous that Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, and many other billionaires have a very simple and limited wardrobe. You can even see in the picture I found here online that like he's wearing pretty much the same shirt every day. And I think he mentioned that he has several pairs of jeans and several pairs of shirts that all look the same, right? And that's because, the reasoning behind it, it's very simple. That's because they do not want to drain their daily willpower tank and experience something called decision fatigue, right? They do not want to get used to thinking every day, hey, what should I wear today to work? They have the exact same clothes, right? I'm wearing the same t-shirt. I'm wearing the same jeans. I do not have to think about it. That's one decision that I took off my plate, right? So they've created this, it's almost as it's a habit, kind of like, right? But they've eliminated one decision from their lives so they can focus their willpower to something else. And you can do this in your business as well. Like this is why it's so important to automate processes, right? This is so important to automate social media. This is so important to delegate stuff, even social media. It's because you have less and less decisions to make. Thus, you can concentrate on things that really matter and can push your business forward. And this also brings me to prioritization. This is the second part of building willpower. And from my experience, there are times when you start to implement a habit, and then let's say after 20, 30 days, something interrupts that habit. And I'll take an example here. Let's say you want to restart going to the gym, right? And then all of a sudden, a lot of clients want to work with you. So none of these are bad things, right? Neither the habit, going to the gym, being more healthy, neither more clients wanting to work with you, right? That's not a bad thing. What happens in this scenario, and I've been there before, I've been in exactly this scenario before. What I do is prioritize. I do want to implement the gym habit the exercising, the gym habit in my life. But what's most important in that specific moment? Is it the gym habit or is it having more clients? There's no right or wrong answer here. I have to pick one and I have to prioritize that one. If for some reason in that moment, building a healthy habit is more important to me, I'll just limit the number of clients I can onboard. And a pro tip here, I just raise my prices, right? So let's say 10 clients come for $500 per month offer. If I have other priorities, I can just say, we just raise our prices. It's $1,500 if you want to work with us. And probably just 3 of them will still stick with me, right? So this is like a pro tip, and it's pretty much you're not losing anything because you would have capped the clients anyways. But anyway, that's a story for another time. But if having more clients is more important to you, then you can skip a couple of gym days here and there, and you can always go back to implementing that habit, right? So if the habit was, let's try and go to gym let's try to exercise every single day. But if my priority is actually getting more clients for my business, I can say, I don't know, probably I'll skip Tuesdays, I'll skip Wednesdays, I'll skip Thursdays, and then I'll just go whenever I have time, right? I will not stay an hour in the gym, I'll stay 30 minutes in the gym. So I'll just prioritize it differently, right? But no matter what you choose, do not beat yourself over it, because a lot of times you will be faced with making a decision, and that's fine. We all have priorities, but pick one assume it and stick with it. That's all you need to do. And I'm curious, how do you feel about willpower? Because I've talked with my friends about this topic and they were intrigued, and at the same time they said like, it's true what you said there, Remus. I've experienced this in my life. And they feel like the more decisions they have to take at work, the less willpower for exercising or eating healthy, right? So there has to be always a balance between that. And if you create more habits, you can restore that balance. And how about you? Do you feel the same way about willpower? How it's affecting your life? Do you have habits? And do you feel drained after a day in which you had to make a lot of decisions? I'm really curious. So just leave your answers in the comment section below. I'll make sure to read every one of them and even get back to you guys. See you in the next video.